Hello, and welcome to another episode of SkyrimPlus. Today I'm featuring Cutthroat Keep by Elianora. Let's check out the map. Here we are at Cutthroat Keep. We're right next to Movarth's lair, the vampire lair near Morthal, and we're right below the abandoned shack where Astrid takes you after disposing of Grelod the Kind. And here we are again at our featured home, Cutthroat Keep. Here's a shot outside of Elianora's new assassin-themed home. It's available on Bethesda's Creations page for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, and it costs 700 credits. The home is located in the swamps of Morthal, and it has a Dark Brotherhood-themed door and creepy red windows. You'll love the way this place looks at night. You also have a boat dock with a chair to enjoy the swamp view, and right past the fishing rods is a private fishing dock. Of course, she gave the property some creepy decor, like the skulls on these stakes, to really put you in the mood for October. The front of the home has a light for night, there's that creepy door again, and then here are 8 fertile soils where you can plant whatever you want. You also have some nightshade and death bells growing on the property, perfect for your damage health potions. You also have a lot of swamp fungal pods growing in this area of the swamp, which are perfect to make your paralysis potions with. And you have a permanent red mist in this area too, which looks really creepy at nighttime. As we travel up the hill, the glowing orange plant you see is rootweed from another mod called Detailed Landscapes. And when we travel behind the home, there's a trap door to the basement, which is my favorite area of the home. As we go around the corner, we see a beautiful view of the surrounding swampland. And now that we've seen the major features of the outdoors, we'll start heading towards the front door. But while we're on our way, if you like what you're seeing, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's overcome our fear of this creepy door and head inside. And here we are inside of Cutthroat Keep. When we first enter, there's a note pinned to the post. It's a picture of the Black Hand from the Dark Brotherhood, and it says, "We know." This is perfect to set the tone for your assassin's roleplay. Moving past the note, we find our kitchen with a cooking pot and baking surface for your cooking needs, some harvestable ingredients. Here's a vegetable basket, food storage, baking ingredients, and all sorts of wonderful Elianora clutter. In the corner, there's a boss chest, a weapons rack for 3 weapons, a knapsack, storage for your keys, and then by the skull candle, there's a journal that explains that the former owner was visited by Sithis and commanded to end her fellow Dark Brotherhood members to purify the sanctuary and send their souls to the void. There are also 5 notes like this one spread throughout the home detailing how she ended them, so the owner has an interesting backstory. Now that we've read those journal entries, let's continue our tour. Here's that creepy door again. And check out the light that's being held up by those skeleton hands. There's a weapons rack right near the stairs. And then underneath the stairs is a hatched door that leads to the basement. Along this wall is a kitchen shelf and drink storage. And on the back wall is a distinguished dagger display. And then next to that is a bar with my favorite types of lanterns, dark elf lanterns. And now that we've seen all that the downstairs has to offer, let's head upstairs. You got some natural light coming in from this window. And now we'll head over to this desk. Right next to the desk is a mannequin to display some of your favorite weapons and armor. You have a shrine of Arcane, a skull and crossbones, some nightshade, and inside of the desk, you'll find an enchanted ancient Brotherhood armor. It's got some really nice buffs, you can check them out as I scroll through. If you're the type of player who likes to enchant their own armor, there's an unenchanted armor set downstairs by the arcane enchanter. And now let's take a moment to appreciate this bony bed and skulltastic chandelier. You also have some weapon plaques and a dresser to store your clothes. And as we look off of the balcony, we find a skeleton in a cage, and we've got a couple of Dark Brotherhood banners being hung up by some skeletons. Right on theme. And here's another mannequin for one of your favorite armor sets, as well as a barrel for your weapons. You also have a copy of the Dark Brotherhood tenets posted on your wall. Now that we've seen what the upstairs has to offer, let's head back downstairs to see the rest. As we head back downstairs, check out the creepy decor Ellie added. You have a mixture of skull and candles, which is pretty on point when considering the theme of the home. And now that we've seen the upstairs and the downstairs, let's head to the basement. Best be on your guard though, because as soon as you enter, the former owner will attack you. But after you take care of her, she'll drop a dagger called Void's Talon, which absorbs 50 points of health and fills a soul gem if they die within 15 seconds. Now you can see her bloody body on this creepy circle, and as cool as that looks, we can clean up this mess and add a shrine display by activating the broom by the training dummy. Now that we've cleaned everything up, let's take another look at our basement. Straight across the room, we have a shrine to Sithis. It has a dagger holder, a copy of the tenets, a red glowing effect and candles, some cool decorative glass, and the shrine, which gives a 10% increase to one-handed damage, as well as a 10-point bonus to sneak when activated. To the left, we have a shrine display with all of the shrines to the divines, as well as the shrines to Azura, Boethiah, Mephala, Nocturnal, and Auri-El. I like the Blackreach plants used for decoration too. That next doorway leads to an epic trophy room, but we're saving the best for last. There's a wood chopping block for your firewood, a weapons rack for 8, there's another hallway through that door, a training dummy, the broom used to clean up the mess, there's the ladder that leads back upstairs, another Dark Brotherhood banner, a door that leads to the crafting room, here's a display for some of your daggers, and then on the other side of the display, we have a bookcase for the bookworms of Skyrim. It has a troll skull up top and a weapons plaque. Okay, now that we've seen this main room, we're going to head into the crafting room and see what that has to offer. We'll check out the left side of the room first, where we have a full smithing suite, including our tanning rack, grindstone, a weapons rack for 8 more weapons, an all-forge that allows you to make Dragonborn, Dawnguard, and Skyforge items, a mini smelter, storage for your smithing materials, a workbench, a safe to store your valuables, and a cool skeleton sconce. As we make our way back around to check out the other side of the room, I should also mention that there's a vent for all of the fumes. Next, we find a spider imbuing chamber from the Dragonborn DLC, and storage for spider making materials. There's storage for ingredients, potions, and poisons, as well as your corner alchemy lab. And next to that is a custom modeled arcane enchanter and staff enchanter, and named storage for soul gems and heartstones. And then inside of this drawer, you'll find the unenchanted Dark Brotherhood armor that I mentioned earlier. Which set are you more excited about using? The enchanted set or the unenchanted set? Let me know in the comments. And as we back up, here's one more look at those custom enchanters and all of the cool clutter that Ellie included. On the corner by the staff enchanter, you'll find note 3, there's a basket for your staves, a map, and on the table you'll find the 4th note. Here's a chair that's being modified by the royal seat, and here's a bookshelf and a bookcase. And now we're ready to head back out. On the floor, you'll find the 5th and final note, right where the body and the circle were. And now we'll head down this hallway. To the left, you have a holding cell where you can hold a prisoner. Looks like Nazim's future home. There's a head chopping block, some torture tools, shackles, and I don't even want to fathom what that hot steak is used for. Further down the hallway, there's a coffin for the bloodsuckers of Skyrim, so if you want a vampire assassin's roleplay, this home is perfect, especially being so close to Movarth's lair. And through this doorway, we find a big bathtub to wash away your sins. You have running water and soap, so make sure to clean up between your marks to blend in on your visits to town. And now, it's finally time to check out my favorite room of the home, the epic trophy room. It's just through this door on the left. When we enter, we find several mannequins to show off some of your favorite armor sets. There are also several weapon plaques to show off some of your favorite weapons. There's a spot to display your Elder Scrolls, the Mythic Dawn commentaries, and you have a couple of chests for additional storage. If you like these armor sets you're seeing, most are from the mod author Pullcharm Solus. As we back up, we find a display for Mirak's staff and sword. There's a display for Auri-El's bow and shield, and for Ysgramor's shield and Wuthrad. On the other side of the doorway, we find a Thieves Guild display where you can store many of your trophies. The open shelf is where the crown of Baron Zaya will appear once you complete that quest. Here's a spot for all of your Dragon Priest masks and the Mask of Clavicus Vile. There's a safe to store your valuables, many spots for the insects in a jar. There are displays for some of the important books like the Ogma Infinium, several of the important skulls, the Initiate's Ewer. Here's a display for the Dragon Claws, Paragons, diaries from the Dawnguard DLC. You have some spots for the Black Books, a spot for the Dragon Burial Map. There's another mannequin and a spot to display some of the Dawnguard room weapons. There's a spot for Pelagius's hip bone, the rings of Hersine and Namira, the amber that looks like Sheogorath, and a chest for other treasures. And now that we've seen all of the features of this home, it's time for final thoughts. Cutthroat Keep is Elianora's assassin-themed home in the swamps of Morthal. It offers a bed for two, a coffin for a vampire roleplay, a cooking pot and baking surface, a full smithing suite including an all-forge, as well as an alchemy lab, arcane enchanter, staff enchanter, and a spider imbuing chamber for all of your crafting desires. There's a wood chopping block and woodcutter's axe, super creepy decor scattered about, a bathtub to cleanse your sins, a shrine to Sithis with unique buffs, the shrines to the 9 divines, as well as shrines to Azura, Boethiah, Mephala, Nocturnal, and Auri-El. There's a souped up dagger and enchanted and unenchanted armor sets, 8 fertile soils to plant whatever you want, a private fishing dock, a trap door for easy access to the basement, and an epic trophy room that has room for all of your favorite weapons and armors, including several spots around the room to display some of the unique items from the game that you've collected along your journey. You might just have to make Cutthroat Keep your next keepsake. This concludes my feature of Cutthroat Keep. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.